Notts County's 2019-20 season began with a flurry of activity at Meadow Lane. After a summer of uncertainty on and off the field, the club was eventually bought by Danish brothers Christopher and Alexander Reeds just a week before the campaign's curtain raiser.
Alex and I are absolutely delighted to have completed the purchase of Notts County Football Club yesterday. We feel incredibly happy, excited and honoured to be the new owners of this fantastic football club.
The pair soon set about resolving several key issues, with unpaid players and staff receiving their wages after a 2-month wait. Crucially, they settled the club's debt to HMRC, which in turn lifted a lingering transfer embargo, giving boss Neil Ardley 4 days to assemble a side ahead of an opening day trip to EASTLEIGH. And the manager wasted no time in making his first capture, with experienced defender Ben Turner arriving the next day.
I'm certainly not here to sort of wind down, as it were. I want to be here and be successful. Moving this big club forward, and I want to be part of that.
The following morning saw Zuman Bagiogo unveiled at the Lane, and with that, the fun really began. Goalkeeper Sam Slocum was next through the door, with permanent deals for trialist defenders Damien McCrory and Dion Kelly-Evans confirmed shortly after. Another free agent who impressed during pre-season was Nathan Tyson, and the forward's form in front of goal was rewarded when he signed on the dotted line. Ardley bagged his 7th and final signing in little over 24 hours when a certain Jim O'Brien agreed fresh terms after his previous deal had expired. All but one of the 7 were in the starting lineup at the Silver Lake Stadium, with Ben Turner not quite ready to feature in the Magpies' first taste of National League football, and he proved to be a big miss.
And Reader Johnson scores. 1 corner, 1 goal. Maybe some things never change, maybe it's a coincidence. All that matters is that Notts County are a goal down at EASTLEIGH with 13 minutes on the clock. That would be the only goal of the game, with things going from bad to worse when captain Michael Doyle and then Damien McCrory were dismissed after the break. It wasn't a happy start to life outside of the Football League, but the 796 strong away contingent were just glad they still had a team to support. With newly promoted Stockport next up 3 days later, the manager moved quickly to bring in defensive reinforcements. Conor Rawlinson joined the club on a permanent deal after leaving Port Vale, whilst youngster Sam Graham completed a loan switch from Premier League Sheffield United. The new boys were thrown straight into the action against the Hatters, but it was a familiar face who opened Notts' account for the season. Headed up in the air by the Stockport defenders, out to Jim O'Brien! And Notts are off the mark in the National League, in front of the Kop, in front of their supporters.
However, that goal wasn't to be enough, as the visitors claimed a share of the points with 19 minutes to go. Elliot Osborne's strike, meaning it finished all square between the sides.
I think what these 2 games should tell everybody that's been to them is this league's tough. And people think, oh, you're down a level, so you should be at the top or whatever it is. It's tough, and I think a lot of these teams, you know, they've got sort of decent budgets and decent players. I think a lot of these teams could cope quite comfortably with League 2 as well. So, you know, it's not going to be easy, but it's a point on the board, and we need to try and build up some momentum.
The BT Sport cameras were in town for the visit of the Bees, with Ben Turner making his full debut, having got up to speed after a lack of pre-season. Despite many comings and goings throughout the summer, the club had held on to star asset Enzio Baldwin, and the Flying Dutchman showed a national audience just why he's held in such high regard at Meadow Lane.
O'Brien's ball forward. Baldwin with the shot! Oh! That's a beauty! Notts County's first significant attack, and Enzio Baldwin with a rocket. Well, that certainly brought Meadow Lane to life.
But the home crowd was silenced on 28 minutes when Callum Reynolds headed the away side level. Christian Dennis almost restored the lead, but saw his effort tipped narrowly wide by former Notts keeper Scott Loach, before Simeon Akinola got the third and decisive goal of the game, meaning the wait for a first win continued. After that loss, Ardley turned his attentions to bringing in some creativity, with Huddersfield Academy product Regan Booty top of his list. Striker Wes Thomas arrived on the same day to fill the space left when Kane Hemmings joined Dundee the previous week. The first half at Wetherby Road was a tale of two penalties, with Joe Leasley doing everything right to send Sam Slocum the wrong way, only to send his kick horribly wide. And having survived that let-off, Notts were awarded a spot kick of their own, when Will Smith handled on the line, leaving the man in black no option but to show him a red card.
He steps back to the edge of the penalty area, does Christian Dennis. He hasn't played or started a game since Yeovil back in January. He shoots and scores and does what Harrogate couldn't do at the other end. And so in stoppage time at the end of this first half, it's Harrogate 0, Notts 1.
The Magpies were on their way to a first win of the season, and the points were wrapped up when debutant Booty crossed for Enzio Baldwin to score his second in as many games.
Booty with the ball towards the back post, and that's the winner! Enzio Baldwin with 2 in 2 games. This one, a bit of a collector's item. It's with his head, a stooping low header at the back post. It's 2-0 to Notts with 3 minutes to go. Surely now they are off the mark with their first win in the National League.
After making an instant impact at Harrogate, Booty continued to impress, providing the assist for Christian Dennis in a 1-1 draw with Wrexham, before getting on the score sheet himself in a second successive draw away at EBBSFLEET. Notts went into the Bank Holiday Monday clash against fellow Magpies Chorley, looking to extend their unbeaten run to 4 games. But it started badly for the hosts when Lewis Baines headed in. That goal on 9 minutes only served as a wake-up call though, and it was one-way traffic from then on in.
Pretty much the entire Chorley team are behind the ball at the moment. Doyle plays it over the top to Jim O'Brien, who nods it down. Nathan Tyson gets his first goal for a Magpies. Much better. As he does, it would appear the Dutchman tucks in quite a bit as he now receives the ball, edge of the area. Will shoot with a left foot! Oh, pick that one out. It's another moment of magic.
What a goal that is.
Enzio Baldwin, and with his left foot. As he and Michael Doyle play a number of 1-2s, and then he finds Jim O'Brien just about. Now to Dennis, edge of the area, turns, shoots on the swivel. It's a brilliant team goal. It's the best team goal of Notts County's season so far. About 10 yards outside the penalty area. Notts take it quickly again. They want to get things moving. I can't help but on this occasion think they might have been better served, maybe looking to play the ball into the penalty area from a slightly longer free kick. But here goes the ball over the top. Christian Dennis, great opportunity, squares it to Thomas, who salutes the Notts County supporters. What do I know? Notts County 4, Chorley 1. He, along with Doyle, want better execution from the teammates as Mitch Rose now turns away from his man and gives it to Wes Thomas. Chanting forward away to our left as Thomas! Oh my goodness, I swear you won't see a better goal than that anywhere today. And he salutes the crowd again.
Presumably you were in the changing room for at least some of the team talk at half-time. What on earth did Neil Ardley say to get that sort of response?
Just stay in the game until Wes Thomas comes in.
Despite Thomas shining from the bench, the manager was still keen to secure a target man. And when Scunthorpe youngster Kyle Wootton became available, Ardley swooped in to complete a season-long loan.
It's great to get it over the line and sorted. It's been ongoing for a few weeks now, but no, delighted it's over and done with, and happy to be here for the season and hopefully bring a lot of good to the club.
The 22-year-old started the Magpies' final game of the month on the bench, but it was another trip to Somerset to forget for the travelling fans. Goals from Duffus, Wilkinson and Hippolyte saw the Glovers on their way to victory, before Christian Dennis scored a late consolation from the penalty spot. September began with the visit of early season promotion hopefuls Solihull Moors. It was the first ever meeting of the two clubs, but unfortunately the match itself didn't live up to its billing, with this Enzio Baldwin effort the best of the first half action. The away side came close to taking the lead after the break when Jamie Osborne rattled Sam Slocum's crossbar with a well-struck free kick. Notts then hit the woodwork themselves when Christian Dennis found himself in a good position after some clever link-up play with Kyle Wootton, who was making his full debut. It was a match which always looked destined to finish goalless, and that was confirmed when Damien McCrory headed over late on. Right back Dion Kelly-Evans was on the end of this strong tackle in the Solihull stalemate, and despite not suffering any repercussions, it prompted Neil Ardley to bring in another option in that position. Richard Brindley was the man who got the call, with the manager a long-time admirer of the 26-year-old who had spent the previous season at Bromley.
He was actually on our original list of 50 odd that we had. As I say, I liked him when I was at Wimbledon and watched loads of him. So there's lots of players through your own experience that you like. Obviously we spoke to the guys, the owners, and very much all on the same page there. And I had him watched a couple of times. He played for Portsmouth in pre-season games and I had him watched a couple of times by people I trust, and they come back to me and said all day long.
Brindley wasn't the only one to head north to Nottingham that day, as EBBSFLEET midfielder Sean Shields checked in on loan to add more National League experience to the squad. The Magpies had won on their two previous trips to Gander Green Lane, which had both been in the FA Cup. However, their first league encounter in South London started badly as they fell behind after just 11 minutes when Harry Beautyman nipped in at the back post to make it 1-0.
And takes on the fullback, gets a crossing right across the back post and put in by Beautyman, and Sutton have the lead in the 11th minute.
After the interval, the visitors rallied, and following some neat interplay, Kyle Wootton found himself with an opportunity to grab his first Notts goal.
And now it's with Wootton, 25 yards out, thinking about a shot, hits, whoa, what a goal! Really good strike. And Notts have an equaliser 7 minutes after half-time.
Having levelled, the away side then went in search of all 3 points, but were denied by two wonderful saves from Jamie Butler in the Sutton net as it finished all square. Halifax were next up at Meadow Lane, with the visitors flying high in second place, but that would count for nothing on the day, with Ardley's men taking the game to their opponents right from the off.
Enzio Baldwin has it, that's good from Notts in the middle of the park, gives it to Wes Thomas, who turns away from his man, he has space to shoot, he does shoot, and draws a save out of the goalkeeper. The keeper was heading to his right, thinking that was the corner that Thomas was going to pick out, and when Thomas hit it straight down the middle, it nearly wrong-footed him, but the keeper did well. Here come Notts down the right-hand side with Thomas bearing down on the Halifax defence, doesn't get there. Michael Doyle flies in, catches his man in the back of the knee afterwards as well. I think he's gone, yes he is. Michael Doyle with a straight red, his second of the season, and it's only the middle of September. Enzio has it on the right wing, he's got the overlap from Brindley. Falls back though as he's surrounded by Halifax players. It's now to Jim O'Brien, tries to slide it in towards Thomas, does do, Thomas through on goal, good save by the keeper, falls to Wootton, Notts have the lead, 10-man Notts have the lead, at the Cop end as well, against the run of play, who cares, Kyle Wootton's got 2 in 2 games, 57 minutes on the clock, Notts 1, Halifax 0.
Fantastic finish from Kyle Wootton, but fantastic play by Notts.
Looking for what would only be a 3rd win of the season so far and a 2nd here at home, and given that they've been down to 10 men, as there's a lovely ball from Wootton into Thomas. Thomas had a great opportunity to double the lead. We've played the 5 minutes of additional time now. They'll launch it long again, and the referee blows his full-time whistle. 10-man Notts County beat Halifax by a goal to 0.
Like Halifax, Bromley had begun the season strongly, going undefeated in their opening 11 games. And it didn't take long for Neil Smith's side to stamp their authority on this one, with Alfie Doherty putting the hosts ahead inside the first 2 minutes. Notts were feeling the heat on a red-hot day in the capital, but did draw level before the break, when Kyle Wootton made it 3-3 with this curling effort. However, that was to be as good as it got, with Bromley snatching the 3 points thanks to a fizzing Sean Mikulski volley. Young defender Sam Graham had returned to his parent club Sheffield United ahead of this one after being ruled out for the season. And there was to be more bad news on the injury front as Jim O'Brien left the field needing gas and air following a double fracture and dislocation of his arm. That would be his last action for 2 months. Three days later, the Magpies travelled south once again, with Boreham Wood the opposition this time. O'Brien's injury meant a second start of the season for homegrown winger Sam Osborne, and it would be a chance he took with both hands.
It's going to be with Sam Osborne, who'll shoot from range and drag his effort about 2 yards wide of the right-hand post. As Thomas puts some pressure on the Boreham Wood defence, forces an error. He's got it, approaches the edge of the area, loads of time to pick his shot, does shoot, it's saved, but Enzio's there, he's hit the post, and now it's gone in. He hit the far post, it bounced back along the goal line, and then I think it hit the goalkeeper and went in. It was one of those freak moments. It could have hit a defender there on the line as well. The only thing that matters is that it did go over the line in the end. Not the cleanest of goals, but Notts have the lead here with 4 minutes to go before the break. Here is Osborne now, he bears down on the edge of the penalty area, takes it past a man and shoots and scores! Oh, what a finish from Sam Osborne, who bends the ball into the top corner. A brilliant finish from the Notts youngster, 67 minutes on the clock. He celebrates with the travelling Magpies supporters.
He picked up the ball 35 yards out with his left foot, allowed the ball to run over it, run across his body, showed a little bit of strength to work it onto his right foot, and then that lovely finish that you like to see from 20-25 yards out.
Notts were made to sweat when Tyrone Marsh pulled one back from the penalty spot with 6 minutes to go, but Ardley's men hung on, making it a night to remember for young Aussie.
I know it's something you dream of, isn't it? Scoring your first career goal, just buzzing to get it.
That victory coincided with a move to Nottingham Forest's home road training facility, having been based at Trent University's Clifton campus since the start of pre-season. Finding a suitable long-term base had been a top priority for the new owners, and the agreed lease would spell the start of a fresh friendship between the two neighbouring clubs, much to the delight of head groundsman Matt Hallam, whose team had been working hard to get the pitches ready.
It's been absolutely brilliant to have this. Got to say massive thanks to Forest for working with the owners and giving us this, and like I said, it will just benefit the lads going forward.
And the benefits were evident once more when FYLDE were the visitors to Meadow Lane, as more than 9,000 fans came through the turnstiles in response to cut price ticketing, all of whom will have been impressed by what they saw.
Got time, finds Booty, and he plays it infield to Rawlinson, who stepped out of defence. Fires a pass into Wes Thomas, who does well to control it and turn his man and weave into the penalty area and shoot and score! How about that for an individual effort from Wes Thomas, who salutes the thousands in attendance here this afternoon at Meadow Lane. 18 minutes on the clock. Lovely individual goal from Notts number 7, who gets his third of the season. It's the Magpies 1, the Coasters 0. With Mitch Rose in the other centre circle, rolls it through to Osborne, opens his body, and now Cruyff turns and gets away from his man. He's going to have another go from range. He aimed for the top corner. To Bradley, to Duxbury on the left wing, Brindley in front of him. He's running at him, cuts in on his right foot. It's deflected to the back post. Is Williams onside? He was, but the goalkeeper makes a really, really good save, and really, FYLDE should be level. Regan Booty, the man who will take this corner, right hand up in the air, signalling something. It's an in-swinger. It's not a bad ball as well, and Notts have their second of the game. Damien McCrory is the man who gives it to them as well. His first goal for Notts County. Edge of the 6-yard box, couldn't miss, didn't miss, and that gives Notts some much needed breathing space. They're 2-0 up with 10 minutes to go.
That second successive win lifted Notts up to 8th in the table at the end of September, and a good run of form was to continue into the following month. At the start of October, Notts made the long trip to Dover, looking to extend their winning run to 3 games. The hosts had won just once on their own patch, but did look most likely early on, with Josh Passley hitting the bar with this diving header. The Whites did break the deadlock though, when Bobby Joe Taylor curled a free kick beyond Sam Slocum 10 minutes before the break. However, Taylor would soon undo all of his good work when he tripped Richard Brindley, providing Mitch Rose with the chance to level from the penalty spot.
Less than 5 minutes to go now until half-time. Notts have trailed for 6 minutes. Mitchell Rose steps up, buries it in the bottom corner of the net, and Notts are level here. Really good penalty for Mitchell Rose.
Rose's first of the season meant the sides went in level, but only just as Slocum came to the rescue to prevent Ini Offiong scoring on the stroke of half-time. Offiong continued to make a nuisance of himself, and when his loose touch fell into the path of teammate Kevin Loco, Dover had themselves back in front. That goal had Notts staring down the barrel of defeat, but with the clock ticking down, there was to be one final chance.
We've got 45 seconds remaining here as the ball is stabbed to Shields inside the penalty area. First time attempt is kicked away by the keeper. Comes back out to the edge of the penalty area. Rose stands it up. Header goalwards! Christian Dennis with the equaliser. Looking across to my right hand side. No flag forthcoming. And so Notts are level for the second time in the game in front of their 355 travelling supporters. Maybe Notts will come away with something from this game. Dennis with his 5th of the season. Dover 2, Notts 2.
The Daggers came to town 3 days later, unbeaten in their last 11, but under the Meadow Lane lights, it would be the Magpies who kept their good run going.
Well, Booty and Baldwin stand over the ball, 5-man wall in front of them. The beat of the drum from the Kop. It's Booty who's going to hit it and scores! Bends it into the bottom corner of the net. Regan Booty with his 2nd goal of the season. Notts 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. That's good play though, through the middle, and they're onside as well. 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. Brilliant save from Sam Slocum as Rhys Grant had a golden opportunity to equalise for Dagenham and Redbridge. That was an excellent kind of starfish Peter Schmeichel style save from Notts number 1. It's with Enzio Baldwin inside the Dagenham and Redbridge half. He's going to have a run here at the right full-back. Perhaps he should have a run to the corner flag, but he won't. He comes back inside, gives it to Dennis! Get in! What a finish that is! Sticks his arms out wide. That should be it with 86 minutes on the clock. It's a beautiful curling finish that kisses off of the far post and into the net. 2 in 2 games for Christian Dennis. Both of them off the substitutes bench. Try and keep him out of the starting lineup on Saturday. Notts 2, Dagenham and Redbridge 0.
Having made a string of crucial saves in a 4-match unbeaten run, Sam Slocum was beginning to emerge as a key figure, and the Notts number 1 was clear on what was behind the upturn in form.
One of the biggest things I've seen from the first couple of weeks to kind of like this week, last week, is that there's a slight mentality change between everyone, and everyone wants to be the best they can be.
Torquay were next up in the second of 3 successive home fixtures, one which will long be remembered for a certain Richard Brindley strike.
So it's Shields again, who's making his 2nd start for Notts. He'll take the corner in at the near post, something off the training ground, back towards Dennis, who shoots. Really good stop on the edge of the 6-yard box. Brindley now shoots. What a goal! Richard Brindley with his first goal as a Notts player from a good 35 yards. Drills it into the bottom corner of the net through loads of players. How nobody gets a touch on it, I don't know. That is some finish, and we are having some goal of the season competition this season at Meadow Lane. 7 minutes gone, Notts 1, Torquay 0. Free kick in at the near post, yes. Dennis! With the header, licked on at the near post into the back stick. And he grabs his 7th goal of the season. Christian Dennis is a man in form. 3 in his last 3. Long ball forward from the left fullback up into the 18-yard box. There's a bit of an error there as it falls to the edge of the 6-yard box, off the line, cleared over the top of the crossbar, and I think it came off of a Notts player last. It might have been Kyle Wootton. Ben Whitfield with a golden opportunity to equalise for Torquay. More home victories in the early stages of this season than what they had in all of the second half of last, and Notts do win by 2-0.
Notts County's 2019-20 FA Cup campaign began in the fourth qualifying round, with Derbyshire's BELPER Town handed a dream tie at Meadow Lane. The Nailers play their league football 3 steps below the Magpies, but there appeared to be no gulf in class when Danny Gordon fired the visitors ahead on 11 minutes. Enzio Baldwin had gone 10 games without scoring, but the Dutch winger got himself back amongst the goals with this left-footed effort to level at 1-1. And that was how it stayed until 15 minutes before the end, when Regan Booty cleverly played in Kyle Wootton to secure passage to the first round proper. In the week that followed that BELPER win, all-time leading goal scorer Les Brad was inducted into the club's Hall of Fame at a special event held in the 1862 suite.
Just a wonderful place to be, and it's great to be part of the community. So, yeah, I thank Nottingham for so much what it's done for my life.
Almost 1,500 Pies fans travelled to the Proac Stadium for a tea-time local derby played out in front of the television cameras. And the packed away end saw their side start brightly, with Kyle Wootton going close from a well-worked Sean Shields corner. Christian Dennis then had a good opportunity to open the scoring against his former club, but inevitably not to be made to rue their missed chances.
Bowden able to bring it down and turn. He's got Weston in the box and others arriving. Oh, what a good finish! At the back post. It was turned in by Nepo Rusena. That was nicely worked by Shields. Thomas makes a run to the box. Creates the space for Baldwin, who might drive this in. He did. It came off the back of Sheridan. I'll have another go here. Brindley. Left-footed shots, and well saved by Jalal, on target. Better from Notts County, more intent about them. Into the 4th minute of added time we go. On the header from Rose is only just off target. And he knows that's probably it for Notts.
Just 72 hours later, Notts were back in action, looking to make amends for that defeat. And boy, did they make up for it.
On towards Enzio Baldwin, who just turns past his man. Good play from Enzio Baldwin, who looks to strike one low towards goal. Oh, brilliant! Superb from Enzio Baldwin. He's having a goal of the season competition all on his own. He worked the space from the edge of the penalty area and sent one into the top corner with his right foot. A superb finish, and Notts have the lead. And it's threaded through. That's a good ball as well towards Wharton. Wharton throwing goal, sends one, and it's deflected into the back of the net. And it's Kyle Wharton's goal, but I think maybe Wes Thomas had got a touch. Not entirely sure who they'll give the goal to, but Kyle Wharton sent it towards the far post. Wes Thomas, I think, got a touch to bundle over the line, and Notts have doubled their lead here. 19 minutes gone at the Kingfield Stadium. It's Woking 0, Notts County 2. What a response for Neil Ardley's side. It'll be Regan Booty to send one. It's not a shooting opportunity. It's headed towards the far post. It's going to come back out to Baldwin, and Baldwin looks to go on his left foot. Gives it back towards Brindley. Strikes it low towards goal. Steered into the far corner by Wes Thomas. And I think he's injured himself, actually. A bit of concern for Wes Thomas there as he's limping as he steered that one towards the far post, past the goalkeeper. And Notts have a very crucial 3rd goal. It's Woking 0, Notts County 3 with an hour played. It was a really teasing ball in towards the penalty area, but now Enzio has stayed onside, goes down the left-hand side, he's bearing down on goal. Could it be 4 for Notts County? It's Enzio Baldwin! Oh, what a finish! Never any doubt at all for Enzio Baldwin, who gets his 2nd in the game. It's Woking 0, Notts County 4, 2 for Enzio Baldwin.
At the end of October, Ardley's men occupied the final playoff spot after taking 10 points from a possible 15. They also boasted the division's best goal difference, but that would soon change during a testing November. The Magpies went into the match against Hartlepool on a high after that sensational win over Woking at the end of October. However, it would be the visitors who seized the initiative under the watchful eye of their would-be manager Dave Challoner, who took his place in the stand.
Down the right wing, cross into the penalty area, headed away, comes out only as far as the man on the edge of the penalty area, and that man has scored. It was Gavin Houlihan, and that is the first time that Notts have conceded here in the league since the end of August. Donaldson to James, the 1-2 into the penalty area. James pulls the trigger and scores a wonderful Hartlepool goal. A dagger through the hearts of Notts County and cutting through those Magpies defenders like a knife through butter.
Pool's second seemed to have Notts dead and buried until a persistent Wes Thomas led the fight back.
As Wes Thomas does really well and he scores one back. Is the keeper okay? Doesn't matter, the referee's not going to give a free kick. That goal will stand. Wes Thomas with a goal out of absolutely nothing, chasing a lost cause down the left hand side. He manages to just get there in front of the goalkeeper, in front of the Hartlepool defender as well. He pokes out a left foot and the ball trickles over the goal line. As Notts work it well down the left-hand side from Turner to McCrory, cross into the penalty area, cleared away. That was a really good ball from the Irishman. Now it's to Booty down the left side of the penalty area. Will get to the byline, will stand the ball on! Notts a level! Wes Thomas again saluted at the Kop. He's got two. Again, he scored two on Tuesday. Wes Thomas, a man in form, and Notts, despite not being at the races in this game, are level. Notts 2, Hartlepool 2. Wes Thomas has got two. Doyle, first time cross, tries to find the back stick. It goes beyond Wootton, finds Brindley. First time ball, and it was just in behind Wootton and just in behind Thomas. Thomas sliding as he tried to find his hat-trick goal, and in the end he could only find the Kop.
Since the loss of young Sam Graham through injury, the manager had been keen to bolster his defensive ranks, and after a successful trial period, it was announced that one-time National League winner Alex Lacey had joined until the end of the season, though it would be a while before he was ready to feature.
You know, I've got some experience at conference level and in a successful team as well, so hopefully that can translate to now, and we can sort of replicate that with Notts County.
Notts faced fellow National League side EBBSFLEET in the first round of the FA Cup, having drawn 2-2 at the Cufflink Stadium back in August. And just like that fixture, this would be full of goals, with Josh Payne opening the scoring in spectacular fashion after just 7 minutes. The Magpies hit back though, when referee Carl Brook deemed that Kyle Wootton's strike did in fact cross the goal line, much to the disapproval of the hosts. But there was to be no doubt about Wootton's second of the game, which gave Notts a 2-1 lead just before the hour mark. There was more controversy a minute before the end, as EBBSFLEET were awarded a dubious penalty for handball, one which Gozi Ugwu converted to seemingly set up a replay at Meadow Lane. That was until deep into injury time, when Ben Turner rose highest at the back post to send Notts through to the second round, sparking great scenes in the away end. Barrow arrived in Nottingham with top spots in their sights after a fine run of form, and once Wes Thomas had come close early on, the Bluebirds soon set about making it an afternoon to forget at Meadow Lane.
Out to the left-hand side, neat little ball in between the lines from Brough. Will find Kay, cuts it back to Angus, and Barrow have the lead, just like that. Neat play down the left-hand side, a good ball in between the lines, and they show real quality there. They've got three centre-halves out there as Enzio passes it back, but it's short, and Angus will get there first in front of Slocum, who's in no man's land. Angus has had to go to the left-hand side, rolled across the 6-yard box, and they have a second in this game already. Barrow come up with it once more. It's neat, playing in between the lines. It's with Kay. He's got men in front of him that he can aim at. Instead comes out to this right-hand side. It's going to be to Barry. Cross along the 6-yard box, and Hindle puts the bow on things. It's another really well-worked goal from Barrow, and that is good night, Notts County.
Notts travelled to Hampshire with hopes of quickly putting that Barrow defeat behind them, only to see Wes Thomas once again denied in the opening stages. Aldershot themselves had a point to prove following a 6-1 drubbing the previous week, and it was them who broke the deadlock when Mo Bettimer headed in from Jack Powell's cross after 27 minutes. But the hosts' lead didn't last long, with Kyle Wootton changing the direction of Michael Doyle's shot to level at 1-1. In truth, the Magpies never really got going and were masters of their own downfall as Alfie Whittingham fired the shots back ahead before the first half was out. In the second 45, this goal-mouth scramble was as close as Notts came to rescuing a point. Instead, they were consigned to back-to-back defeats for the first time all season.
At the start of the season, when we recruited these players, we tried to recruit players we thought could handle playing for Notts County, because although teams want to win every game, every team wants to beat us, and we said that at the start of the season, and we're finding it with Barrow, we're finding it now today with Aldershot. They really want it, they raise their game, and if we let our levels drop like we have done the last 2 weeks, we get what we deserved, which is nothing.
Boreham Wood were next up, with Notts looking to record their first 3 points of the month in a game which would end in confusion.
Thomas knocks it back to the edge of the penalty area. Smith's in loads of space, picks out his cross, and Boreham Wood have the lead. The linesman's flag stays down, and Justin Shaibu is the man who's got it, his 4th goal of the season. It's now with Shields, who's tucking in, as Neil Ardley likes his wingers to play, to Enzio, also tucked in, now a bit wider onto the right-hand side for Brindley. First time cross, what an equalise for Notts! And that is the virtue of keeping the ball and being patient. That is everything that Neil Ardley is trying to implement in one passing, patient move. A really good ball down that right-hand side, an excellent cross, and Kyle Wootton is a man in the goals. That's his 8th of the season.
Good ball in, good delivery into a good area, and when you've got the height and the strength of Kyle Wootton, that's the sort of service you want to feed on. Lovely little guided, glancing header in off the far post.
Thomas to the byline, finds Wootton again, and he's got another one! Another header, another great striker's finish. Kyle Wootton moves on to 9 goals for the season, and despite everything that we said about this first half and how poor Notts have been, they lead now by 2 goals to 1. To Rose to Brindley, he's in space on the right wing, he's got Thomas in front of him, Enzio just inside. It is with Enzio, who's going to shoot with his left foot, oh, he's at the post, keeper I think got a glove to it, and that'll be a free kick inside the Boreham Wood penalty area to the visitors. Really good save from Nathan Ashmore. He's back on the ball, just inside the Notts half. Here's danger though, Shamanga's got away from Turner into the penalty area. Rawlinson's brought him down. It's a penalty, he says. It was right on the edge of the area, and Rawlinson's also received a straight red card, which is interesting because thought nowadays the replacing of a goal scoring opportunity with another was usually enough to ensure that you don't get a red, you get a yellow. By the by, it was a bad tackle from Rawlinson because he was trying to make up for the error of his mate in the middle of defence, Ben Turner, who was turned by Shamanga. Shamanga's still down inside the penalty area, and a penalty it will be. Sorba Thomas is the man who'll step up. The game resting on his shoulders. And Sam Slocum, and he buries the ball in the bottom corner. And Boreham Wood look as though they will get a point, and it's disappointment for Notts as they had led for so long in this game.
At the end of a disappointing November, Neil Ardley's side had slipped to within 5 points of the playoff places, but with a busy festive period now just around the corner, there will be plenty of opportunities to get the promotion charge back on track. December kicked off with an FA Cup second round tie against League 2 promotion contenders Northampton, and what was expected to be a tough task became even harder when Scott Wharton headed the hosts in front inside 3 minutes. Former Notts loanee Verdane Oliver then doubled the Cobblers' lead from close range, and despite Notts creating a number of chances after the break, it was the EFL side who grabbed the game's 3rd goal with another header, this time from Harry Smith. Christian Dennis did grab his 8th of the season late on, but by that point the FA Cup run was over. Sutton were next up at Meadow Lane, with Notts looking for a much needed return to winning ways. Sean Shields had the first meaningful attempt on goal after 7 minutes, in a game which proved to be anything but a classic.
Here goes Enzio down the right-hand side. Will try to beat the left fullback. Has one-on-one coverage with him at the moment. He's into the penalty area. He's dancing left and right. He now shoots, and Notts have the lead. Wes Thomas is the man who's got it. Dragged his shot across the edge of the 6-yard box, and there was Notts' number 7 to bag his 8th goal of the season. It's taken only 14 minutes, but Notts are in the ascendancy. Turner's forward, so's Rawlinson. Wootton in there, McCrory, Enzio, Thomas. Ball in at the near post. Rawlinson flicks his head up. Oh, just wide. Really good opportunity to double the lead.
Oh, it looked like it might have been glancing into that far corner.
Gives it to Ajaboy down the right-hand side. Cross into the penalty area beyond everybody, but at the back stick, Will Randall, who retrieves possession. He crosses it into the penalty area. That beyond most as well, but there's now a scramble. It falls to Beautyman. McCrory back in there. Beautyman scores. That is really of Knott's own making. Very, very poor from Notts. Cumbersome and lazy at times, and they, as I say, the makers of their own downfall there.
The Sutton draw had come too soon for Jim O'Brien, but after almost 3 months out, the Scot was at last ready to return in a first round FA Trophy clash at Chesterfield.
Really looking forward to it. Like I say, hopefully if I'm selected on Saturday, can get back at it straight away and get a good feeling run about the place again.
O'Brien captained a much changed side at the Pro Act, with Alex Lacey fit enough to make his first appearance. Zumana Bagiogo was brought into the lineup, and it was he who made a crucial goal line block to deny the Spyrites an opener. Sam Slocum then tipped Joe Rowley's header over the bar before a groin strain saw him replaced by goalkeeping coach Jake Keane. The biggest blow of the day, however, was when O'Brien was forced off after sustaining a large gash to his thigh, requiring several stitches and another lengthy layoff. That injury put a dampener on the rest of the game, but at least it was one which ended in victory, with Sam Osborne setting up Christian Dennis to score the tie's only goal, one which would transform the whole season. With the winning feeling rediscovered, Notts headed to West Yorkshire, hoping to breathe new life into their league campaign in what would turn out to be a pre-Christmas cracker.
He gives it back to Duckworth, who takes a touch past Doyle and fires. Oh, and it's taken a deflection on the way through, and Halifax have the lead. Mikulski is claiming it. Duckworth will celebrate as well. It is the most fortuitous of breakthrough goals for Halifax. Free kick, by the by, taken by Notts into the penalty area, half-headed away, falls to Wootton, shot, goal! It beats the goalkeeper, it's dragged along from the penalty spot into the back of the net. Keeper was unsighted, never really caught a grip of it. It might have caught a deflection on the way through, and Notts are level just 4 minutes into this second half. Halifax 1, Notts 1, Kyle Wootton. Halifax in possession here with Staunton, who plays it out onto the left-hand side. Williams is going to cross the ball into the area, through the legs of a bunch of players, and back out towards Jamie Allen, who has given Halifax the lead. Notts only level for around 7 minutes. Halifax back in front here at the Shea. Well worked from right to left. Shields is the man with that right foot. Sticks his left arm in the air, aims for the back post, headed back across goal, headed away by Staunton, falls to Rose, who thunders his volley into the back of the net, and they're level once more. This back and forth game in the second half that keeps on giving, and Rose celebrates in front of the hundreds of Notts supporters who are feeling much more cheery now. He's marked out his run-up. The goalkeeper is pushing the crossbar to try and distract him, but Mitchell Rose steps forward and scores, buries the ball in the bottom corner, and for the first time in this game, Notts County are in front. Mitch Rose runs to celebrate in front of those Magpies supporters, and many of the Halifax supporters around us get to their feet and consider themselves done and wish the people around them a Merry Christmas, as they won't see them again. The referee's still not blown the whistle, but Notts are on the counter once more to Wootton, who puts the icing on the cake. Notts have a fourth goal in this one. They will win just before Christmas with 98 minutes on the clock. Halifax 2, Notts 4. It's a Merry Christmas for Neil Ardley and Notts County.
We spoke about in the week, if we can get a win today here and we do the basics, which we showed that we can do, we'll carry some good momentum going into a busy Christmas period.
Maidenhead were the Boxing Day visitors at Meadow Lane, but Notts were in no mood to spread festive cheer as they soon set about extending their winning run.
That's not a bad ball though, and Notts have the lead. That man again, Kyle Wootton, his 12th of this season. How lovely to see the Magpies of Nottingham score a goal from a set piece. Brilliant bending ball from Enzio Baldwin. Powerful header from Kyle Wootton into the top corner of the net, giving the goalkeeper absolutely no chance at all. The Magpies of Nottingham 1, the Magpies of Maidenhead 0. Maidenhead have got it down the right wing. Oh, that's a tough-looking, robust tackle from Damien McCrory. Fortunately, he didn't catch the ball or the player, and so Notts have it back now, though, with Baldwin back to McCrory, now to Doyle. Lovely ball. He's got loads of space, does the Irishman, to run into. Crosses the halfway line. They have players available to him, left and right as well. It's to Kelly Evans, now to Osborne, inside the area, takes a touch, and another, and shoots, and scores! Sam Osborne with a wonderful team goal. His second as a Magpie, his first here at Meadow Lane, and he salutes the Cop, who in turn stand as one. Enzio Baldwin on the right wing, pushes the ball past his man and hurdles him into the area, back to Dennis, 3-0! Oh, it's lovely stuff from Notts County. The Flying Dutchman, the scoring Dennis, 3-0 Notts. Merry Christmas, Meadow Lane. It's going to be 3-0 at half-time at this rate. There are less than 2 minutes to go until the break, and it's another lovely, fast, free-flowing move from the Flying Magpies.
The final game of a rollercoaster calendar year saw Notts go to Solihull away. Kyle Wootton had 3 goals to his name over the Christmas period, but he was unable to make it 4 as he stooped to meet Michael Doyle's delivery. Solihull threatens at the other end, with Jamie Osborne looking most likely, though it remained goalless at half-time. It was a match which always looked like one goal could decide it, and that goal arrived 18 minutes before time.
It's a little dinked ball picked off well by Hawkridge, but Wootton's won it in a good position here. It's going to be lashed across goal, and it's going to be stabbed in! And it's Wes Thomas, I think, with the goal at the far post. It's right where we can't see it, but thankfully Wes Thomas saw it. Stabbed in at the near post. Kyle Wootton won the ball. Drive towards the penalty area, down the left-hand channel, lashed it across the face of goal, and on hand was Wes Thomas to tap home from close range, and that's exactly what we've needed in this game, and that's a goal with 15 minutes to go. Notts have the lead at Solihull Moors.
Moors searched deep into injury time for a response, only to be denied by a wonderful reflex save from Sam Slocum, one which ensured Notts ended the year on a high. That win saw the Magpies leapfrog their opponents and climb to 6th in the National League table as 2019 drew to a close. Notts began the new decade with a trip to Maidenhead, just 6 days after the two sides had met at Meadow Lane. Despite the Magpies running out comfortable winners in that one, the game at York Road was a much cagier affair, with Sam Osborne one of a few Notts players to spurn half chances early on. James Akintunde then had a glorious opportunity to put the hosts in front just before the break, but he could only find the side netting. Sam Slocum was on hand to stop Josh Kelly's flicked effort as Maidenhead went in search of a winner in the second period. But the save of the game came from fullback Dion Kelly-Evans in the dying moments, as he heroically headed clear with Akintunde lurking. 0-0 at finished, with Notts' unbeaten run stretched to 6 league games. A hectic festive period came to a close with the visit of third place Bromley, providing Notts with an opportunity to lay down a marker in their surge up the table.
Here comes the in-swinging ball. That should be Slocum's. It is. And now they'll look to hit him on the counter-attack as fast as they possibly can. Down the left-hand side. It's to Osborne. His touch was poor. But Thomas is there to sweep up. And they've still got men forward. Here goes Osborne down the left wing. Enzio's in the centre as a target. So's Wootton. So's Rose. It's still with Osborne. Another poor touch. But he gets past his man. Cuts it back to Thomas. It's a brilliant goal. And the perfect start for Notts County. 3 on the clock. You know what Thomas is going to do? He's going to salute the Notts supporters here at Meadow Lane. Perfect counter-attack from back to front.
Sam Osborne, a bit of a heavy touch at first on the halfway line, but Wes Thomas was there backing him up. Gave it back to Sam Osborne, who beat his fullback on the byline. pulled it back to 10 yards out, and Wes Thomas with a fantastic first-time finish with his left foot in at the near post.
The pushing and shoving continues, of course, all of this a few yards away from the penalty spot, and the referee's keeping a close eye on it. Bet that the whistle will go shortly. Here comes the ball into the area towards the back post. Surely a penalty. The linesman's flagging for it. The linesman's giving it. Surely a penalty, and it is. And with nearly 24 minutes played here at Meadow Lane and Notts County leading Bromley by a goal to nil, can he double the lead and make it 14 from 14 this afternoon? The Bromley players are still inside the penalty area, but Mitchell Rose will not score. No, it comes to Enzio, and he sticks it over the top. The keeper might have got his fingertips to it to turn the ball onto the post. Here comes the in-swinger towards the near post, cut out back there by Brindley at that near post, comes back out to this near side. Wood's cross is blocked, comes out to Bingham. He's going to have a goal with his left foot. Oh, what a save! It's a brilliant save from Sam Slocum. Again, a few shouts for a free kick to Bromley, I think this time from the fans over there, and now the Notts fans in the Kop responding by booing. And it's with Cheek, 25 yards from goal, drills one, bottom corner, 1-0. What a strike that is from Michael Cheek out of the blue. 70 minutes about to tick over. Notts have another corner into the area.
Get in!
Yes, it is. Connell Rawlinson, his first goal for Notts County. Well worked. Points at the badge on his chest. Big Connell, who's become such a fan favourite here at Meadow Lane, with his black eyes and his stitches and his heroic performances. And now with a goal, 70 gone. Notts 2, Bromley 1.
Come on, referee, let's have the whistle.
Yeah, more than 20 seconds over now of the 4 minutes added on. The referee puts his whistle to his mouth, and Notts County have themselves a massive 3 points to kick off the new year here at Meadow Lane.
After working on a deal for 2 months, the club completed the permanent signing of top scorer Kyle Wootton from Scunthorpe after an impressive first half of the season. The 23-year-old put pen to paper on a 2.5-year deal, with his sights set on adding to his 12-goal tally.
Obviously I've been here on loan first, but it felt like home, and that's a really important thing to me. I've been at Scunthorpe I was there for a long time, nearly 13 years, so it's a long time. It's been a big, massive part of me, but I felt it's the right time to move on. And like I say, this club's played a big part in my heart, and I'm ready to keep moving forward with the club now.
And that wasn't the only good news that week, with Neil Ardley named Vanarama's National League Manager of the Month for December after collecting 10 points from a possible 12, though his sights would momentarily switch to cup action. Notts had once again been drawn against fellow National League opposition in the FA Trophy, with Dagenham and Redbridge the visitors at Meadow Lane. Wes Thomas was one of just 5 players to retain their place from the Bromley win, and it was he who came closest in the first half. Christian Dennis had one chalked off for offside during the first 45, but shortly after the break he put the hosts ahead, tapping in Zumana Bagiogo's cross. But unlike the first round at Chesterfield, a single Dennis goal wouldn't be enough for progression, as the Daggers restored parity on 76 minutes, with Mitch Brundle scrambling the ball home. That looked to have set up a replay 3 days later, until a moment of magic from the Notts captain spared a midweek trip to Essex. Over to you, Charlie Slater.
Here's with Osborne. Osborne through the middle. Can Thomas get there? He's being nudged off of it. He doesn't. Keeper's out of his goal. Doyle's going to shoot.
Oh, what a goal!
Michael Doyle has scored from the halfway line. Oh my word! To win the tie in your life! In your career, Michael Doyle, you're 38 years old. In your career, have you ever scored a goal like that? We will not be going to Dagenham and Redbridge on Tuesday night. Next stop, FYLDE. Next stop, the 3rd round of the FA Trophy. Notts 2, Dagenham and Redbridge 1.
After a midweek fixture at FYLDE was postponed hours before kick-off, Notts returned to league action with Dover the visitors, but it would only end in more frustration for the Magpies.
Notts are on the break as Osborne pokes it over the top. Can Thomas get there in front of the keeper? He can. Back to Enzio, shoots from the edge of the area. Keeper saves it, nearly to Wootton. Oh, he saved it on the line from a second attempt. This one deflecting off of a Dover centre half. Enzio Baldwin stands over the ball. Christian Dennis there as well, but this has got the Dutchman written all over it. He now stands alone, poised to try and win the game for Notts County with his right foot. He hits the post, comes back out, and Dover will clear. The referee looks at his watch, blows his whistle, and that is full time. 0-0. Notts County come within a whisker of winning this with the very last kick of the game.
With the club adopting a policy of bringing in young talent with lots of potential, Notts made their second January signing when Carl Roberts made the switch from Blythe Spartans. The Newcastle Academy product had bagged 17 goals in 25 National League North games and arrived at Meadow Lane with a clear objective.
Obviously want to get the club back to where they belong, up in the leagues, and I want to personally do well here as well.
Roberts went straight into the starting lineup at Victoria Road, but it proved to be a debut to forget on a disappointing afternoon.
Well, here goes Cal Roberts, laid off into the penalty area from Wootton, wheels away and he should score. The keeper makes a brilliant save and then a double save as he punches it clear. I thought Roberts was going to get a goal on his debut. He did absolutely everything right. Here comes the corner, a near post helped on its way, flashes across goal, and Dagenham do have the opener in this game. I think it's the debut boy, Alex Reid, who's got it. Really poor ball from Zamana Bakayoko. Down goes steering. Doyle's already been booked. The referee's gone to his pocket, and that will be a second yellow of the afternoon for Michael Doyle, which equals a red, and Notts County are down to 10 men. Plays it forward, he's picked up Brundle, who's in acres of space, shoots from range, the goalkeeper doesn't get it, and that'll be 2-0. And that's good night, Notts County. You'd think 10-man Notts County at that. Alex Reid is the man who gets on the end of it. It probably would have been a penalty had Reid not been there to sweep up, and Notts are condemned to a miserable afternoon in East London.
That was Notts' first defeat in 10 games, but at the end of the month, Neil Ardley's side remained amongst the playoff places in a heavily congested top 10. February kicked off with the tea-time local derby against Chesterfield, but to return to winning ways, Notts would need to end a long-term television hoodoo with the BT Sport cameras once again at Meadow Lane.
Baldwin just found a bit of space for a moment. His cross was good too, and the header off the post, and Thomas is there, but he couldn't divert it home. Could be a key moment, this. Both players very capable in this sort of situation. It's going to be Baldwin, and they hit the woodwork for a second time, Notts County. Buchanan's a long way forward, it's dropped. Oh, was he pulled back there? He was. Penalty. Scott Bowden up against Ross Fitzsimmons, who only recently, of course, was a teammate while the goalkeeper was on loan at Chesterfield. A pressure penalty. It's saved! Brilliant stop by Fitzsimmons. And what a story this is. The man who was on loan at Chesterfield keeps out the penalty. And what a let-off it is for the Magpies. Mitch Rose. Oh, lovely turn. Brilliantly done by Enzio Baldwin, who's got options in front of him. He didn't need them. Spectacular from Enzio Baldwin. What a clean strike that was. No other thought in his mind than to go for goal. And that is devastating from the Dutchman. Brinley. Roberts. Roberts with the cross, great ball, fine header. 2-0 Notts County. Kyle Wootton with the second. All about the cross, though, from Roberts on his home debut. So well created. And they've got a lot to be happy about right now. Baldwin. Inside he goes, onto his right foot, but it's been spilled and it's the third. The mistake by the goalkeeper presented a present to Carl Wootton, who gets his second, Notts County's third, and surely that's the point now.
Well followed in there from Carl Wootton, and really now I could say it's game, set and match.
Following his impressive display against Chesterfield, goalkeeper Ross Fitzsimmons chose to recommence his loan spell with the Spireites. And with Sam Slocum sidelined through injury, Joe McDonnell was brought in to fill the void between the sticks, the manager knowing him from his time at AFC Wimbledon.
I've only been here 30 minutes and you can tell by the stadium that it's a massive club. And you know, to team up with the gaffer and Coxie again, you know, I'm excited by that opportunity, and you know, hopefully it's a good match.
For the third time running, Notts faced National League opposition in the FA Trophy as the Magpies made another long trip to Yeovil. Hughes Park had never been a happy hunting ground, but that looked like it could be about to change when Conor Rawlinson headed the visitors in front after just 8 minutes. After that, the Glovers missed a series of chances to draw level, but with the score still at 1-0, they were handed a boost when Wes Thomas was shown a straight red card following an altercation with Luke Wilkinson. However, despite being a man down, it was not to grab the next goal, as Rawlinson showed a great turn of foot before setting up substitute Kyle Wootton to make it 2-0. Courtney Duffus pulled one back for the home side 13 minutes from time, with Damien McCrory picking up an injury in the build-up, forcing the Magpies to finish with 9 men. But despite their numerical advantage, Yeovil were unable to breach a resolute Notts rearguard as it ended 2-1, securing progression to the quarter-finals. Woking were next up at Meadow Lane, with the Magpies hoping for a repeat of the 4-0 win in the reverse fixture. However, on a blustery afternoon in Nottingham, this one would prove to be more tightly contested.
Here comes Roberts again, who's made a good start to this game, cuts it back to Dennis, edge of the area, shot just wide. Falls to Tarpey, edge of the penalty area, got a bit of time and some space. Forward comes Enzio, tries to make the tackle, can't do, header in. And it's Max Kretschmar who's scored it. Just like that, Woking have taken the lead with 4.5 minutes played in the second half. Clearance forward from McDonnell up towards Wootton, controls it with his chest into the path of Enzio Baldwin, who's running at the defenders and shoots, and his keeper saves it and falls to Roberts, who's missed a sitter. You've got to score him. You've just got to score those. Here goes Cal Roberts down the right-hand side into the penalty area, beat his man, stabs it back across the 6-yard box. Can they score? Yes, he can! On the day of Storm Dennis, it's Christian Dennis who gives the Magpies the lead. It's good wing play from Cal Roberts. That's exactly why the football club signed him. And Dennis is on to his 11th goal for the season, and the Magpies have an equaliser. 70 minutes on the clock. Notts 1, Woking 1. Mitchell Rose plays it in behind the last man. Can Cal Roberts get there?
Penalty, referee!
What did the referee do? He's not given a penalty. My word, how is he not given a penalty for that? Cal Roberts gets there in front of Diarra. Diarra takes out Roberts. All ends up, and the referee hasn't given a penalty.
With Zumana Bagiogo and Damien McCrory joining long-term absentee Ben Turner on the sidelines, Neil Ardley turned to youth to bolster his defensive options in the middle of the month. 18-year-old Joel Bagan arrived on loan from Cardiff City, before Adam Long, 1 year his senior, joined from Wigan Athletic. Bagan would have to wait for his debut, as Long was thrown straight into the action at Victoria Park. But despite the steady showing in tricky conditions, the Latics loanee was unable to prevent Notts slipping to defeat. It was Nicky Featherstone who put Hartlepool ahead at the start of the second half, with Joe McDonnell caught out by the wind. It continued to be one-way traffic from then on in, with Featherstone grabbing his second just before the hour to wrap up a disappointing afternoon in the North East. Neil Ardley's men should have had the opportunity to make amends 3 days later at FYLDE, but once again the match was postponed within hours of kick-off, with the pitch deemed unplayable by the match officials. There was some good news for Ardley that week though, as he landed a new striker in the form of Oldham's Scott Wilson, who arrived on loan.
With the opportunity of a playoff push here and the FA Trophy, it's definitely something I'm looking forward to.
Wilson started on the bench against Step 4 side ATHLETICO, but he would make an instant impact when called upon, as not set their sights on the FA Trophy semi-finals.
Now to Jim O'Brien, a Cruyff turn, sees him away from his man, buys him a bit of space, couple of step overs, now fires from range! It's a howling goalkeeping error from David Hughes, but a goal for Jim O'Brien, he doesn't care one bit. Now the Irishman curls one out to the right-hand side for Kelly Evans. Edge of the penalty area to Christian Dennis. Now to Crawford. First time shot, and that is a lovely goal from Notts County. That is good football from Notts County, ending in a fine finish from Tom Crawford. That's a nice pass from Christian Dennis that now finds Kyle Wootton. Back heel, Sam Osborne, 3-0. Bush, bang, thank you very much. That is neat, lovely, and a wee bit tasty from Notts County there. To Dion Kelly Evans, fakes to accelerate, slows down, cuts back, beats a man, now finds Christian Dennis being told to shoot. This should be 4, Kyle Wootton. 4-0 to Notts County, who are in cruise control. So they are leading by 4-0 and destined for the semi-finals of this competition, and perhaps destined for a 5th goal in this game. Here goes Wilson on his debut! Welcome to Meadow Lane. Scott Wilson gets his first goal for the Magpies, having only been on the pitch for 2.5 minutes. Notts County 5, ATHLETICO 0, semi-finals, here we come.
Despite just one defeat in the month, Notts had slipped to 10th at the end of February, with progression in the FA Trophy meaning they'd played fewer games than many of their rivals. That would soon change, with a rich vein of form just around the corner. It was third time lucky as the fixture at AFC FYLDE finally went ahead, but having travelled almost 800 miles back and forth to Mill Farm, the pressure was on to make it a trip worthwhile.
A free kick it'll be in a dangerous position, this. You'd think it would favour the right foot of the Flying Dutchman, just because of the angle. About 10 yards to the left of centre, a couple yards outside of the penalty area. It is Enzio, shoots and scores into double figures for the season. He belts it around the wall. It was a low free kick, and the keeper himself, Sam Hornby, looks disappointed with that, blaming the wall's positioning. Maybe he should probably look at himself as well. Awkward bounce now for the Notts County defenders to try and deal with. Proctor shifts it out to the left-hand side for Williams, who's approaching the edge of the Notts penalty area, and that's a really good finish. He thunders it across the goalkeeper and into the bottom corner, and Notts had only been in front for all of 5 minutes or so. In fact, not even that. Well read though back there by Crowsdale, who heads it away, and now here come FYLDE down the left-hand side. It's with Willoughby. He's going to shoot again from range. He's hit the outside of the post, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. The Notts goalkeeper, Joe McDonald, rooted to the spot. So Notts have a throw-in. Long throw it is from Mitchell Rose, headed away, comes out to O'Brien. Oh, it's a brilliant save from the goalkeeper. What a hit from Jim O'Brien. Here comes Notts' second corner of the game. Jim O'Brien sticks his left hand in the air. He hits it with his right foot. Good ball, 2-1. It's Adam Long who's got it. His first Notts County goal, making his first senior goal in football. Less than 15 minutes remain, and the Magpies lead. Adam Long on the score sheet, only 19 years old, on a 1-month loan from Wigan, and that could prove to be a very, very important goal.
Celebration was pretty decent for a centre-half as well. They're usually not that good at celebrating goals.
I'm not going to lie, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just running off with my arms in the air. I didn't know what to do. I was just too happy. I think
the emotions just got the better of me and the adrenaline as well, and I was just running around like a headless chicken, but I didn't really know what to do.
Up next was a tough test against league leaders Barrow, with Notts desperate to avenge the 3-0 defeat earlier in the season. Neil Ardley raised eyebrows upon making 6 changes to the lineup as he continued to emphasise the need for rotation during a busy period.
Thomas has given the ball away and Rooney's back on it once more, pivots on it, finds Quigley, couple of deflections, down he goes, penalty to Barrow. Damien McCrory can count himself a little bit unlucky there, I think. So here we are at Holker Street, Notts County's first trip to Holker Street in many a year, and John Rooney has hit the post, and Notts County have got a massive let-off. It's still 0-0. And Hardcastle will bring the ball away up towards Quigley, who's left Damien McCrory for dead on the halfway line. Rooney and Angus are options in the middle. Quigley still going, but the goalkeeper will get there. Oh, it's a shocker of a challenge from Scott Quigley.
Surely that's a red card.
Two-footed on the goalkeeper. The Notts players apoplectic with the top scorer in the division who has seen a red.
Yeah,
that is a red card that the referee's held
tackle.
up. It's still 0-0 at the moment. Here comes the corner kick into the penalty area. Lacey's up there challenging once again. It's going to fall to Tom Crawford on the left-hand side of the penalty area. He plays a 1-2 with Doyle, and now back to the Irishman once more. Left-footed cross is good. Lacey's up there. So's McCrory. Ball bounces. Brilliant save made by the goalkeeper. Watson was there. So was Rawlinson. The keeper from point blank makes a brilliant diving save to his left-hand side.
I mean, this is a great spell of pressure for Notts. If they can get a goal now, that would be fantastic.
So important. Roberts into the area. Another save. No, it's a goal. Tom Crawford with the head. Now that's a collector's item if you've ever seen one. Notts County lead at top of the National League. Barrow, 67 minutes on the clock. The corner into the penalty area. I'm not even sure Crawford knew that much about it. Notts are 1-0 up at Barrow.
He was very, very cagey in the first half, but Notts looked a lot more brighter in possession or having a real go.
Crawford tries to turn it round the corner to Roberts on the edge of the Barrow penalty area and does. Now it is Roberts. He skips in between 3 players in front of the goal! What 2-0 Notts! Brilliant from Cal Roberts. That is genius play from the young man. He threads his way between 3 Barrow players and then curls it into the far corner. He made that look like a Sunday stroll. Brilliant from Cal Roberts, who gets off the mark for Notts County. 72 minutes on the clock, 2-0.
You know, everything's worked out well today. It doesn't always happen, but we took a brave decision. I'm sure people wondered what I was doing when they saw the team selection, but you know, it wasn't just, you know, as I always say, names out of a hat. It was planned, and you know, you can see why we did it.
Like with Barrow, Notts had a point to prove when Aldershot came to Meadow Lane the following Tuesday. The Magpies had slumped to a disappointing defeat in Hampshire back in November, and it looked like history could be about to repeat itself when, after some neat interplay, Craig Tanner led the shots in front on 17 minutes. Kyle Wootton then had a glorious chance to level, but his chip finish drifted agonisingly wide after being sent clear by Endio Baldwin. However, Notts did find a response 10 minutes before the break, when Cal Roberts fired home from the edge of the area, making it 2-2 for the newly dubbed Geordie Messi. Goalscorer Tanner came close to restoring the visitors' lead after the interval, only to be denied by a combination of Joe McDonnell and the bar. The opposite crossbar was rattled moments later by Wootton, with his fierce strike rebounding the wrong side of the line. Notts did take the lead within a minute of that chance though, as Christian Dennis latched onto McDonnell's long ball forward before superbly lobbing the keeper to claim his 13th of the season. And 13 soon became 14 as Dennis wrapped up the win with a fine header, having been well picked out by Dion Kelly-Evans. 3-1 it finished, with Notts claiming a 3rd straight league victory, one which moved them up to 3rd in the table. The global coronavirus outbreak threw the Magpies' next match against EASTLEIGH into doubt, but whilst waiting for guidance from the league, it was business as usual on the training ground.
Until we're told anything further, we've just got to, you know,
our heads are on it that we've got a game on Saturday and we need to do the business.
And the prepare-as-normal approach proved a sensible one, but on the Friday afternoon it was announced that National League games would go ahead as planned. $4,942 were in attendance at Meadow Lane for what was billed as the biggest match in English football following the postponement of the Premier League and EFL. And with the growing expectation that it could be the last action for a while, Notts are all the more keen to send their fans home happy.
It's with Cal Roberts, and if he can spot Christian Dennis the other side of the pitch, he might be able to slip him through. He has turned the ball back across the pitch, but in the meantime, like their nickname, the Spitfires have rushed back and they've got men behind the ball, but here come the Magpies with a second wave of an attack. Christian Dennis, Kyle Wootton, lovely link-up play, 1-0 Notts County at the Kop end with 15 minutes on the clock. The Magpies take the lead. It's with Doyle inside the Eastleigh half, now to Roberts, edge of the penalty area, spins away from his man, approaches the edge of that box, he's going to shoot, no he's not, he's going to dink it, it's brilliant, the flag stays down and Dennis has his third goal in just 2 games. It is magic again from the Geordie Messi, Cal Roberts. Roberts, good ball down the inside right channel to Rose, into the area, cuts it back for Wootton, 3-0! Notts are marching to another 3 points and they are 3-0 up against Eastleigh, a team that took advantage of this clobbered together Magpies team on the first day of the season. Enzio sticks the ball across the midfield and gives his skipper Michael Doyle something to run onto. The Irishman finds Rose, now to Roberts, edge of the area, shoots with the left foot, 4-0! Cal Roberts has his third goal in 3 games. And the Magpies are flying against the Spitfires of Eastleigh. 70 minutes on the clock. Notts 4, Eastleigh 0.
That win saw the Magpies strengthen their hold on third place as the National League came to a halt afterwards, and it would be more than 4 months before play resumed. On the 17th of June, the National League gave the green light for a playoff competition to decide who would go up with champions Barrow after the final standings were decided on a points per game basis. Notts remained in third place, meaning they would face either Yeovil or Boreham Wood in a one-legged semi-final tie to be played behind closed doors at Meadow Lane. And after COVID-19 testing returned no positive results, a streamlined 24-man squad began a phased return to training with 5 weeks to prepare for action.
It's hard because the first week's got to be small groups and it's got to be regulated, so there's only so much you can do fitness wise in that first week, but obviously from week 2 onwards we'll be able to ramp it up.
After a hard-fought 2-0 win over Yeovil in the Eliminator, Barnet with the opposition as Notts look to book their place at Wembley for the first time in 24 years.
Lacey gets it back again off Doyle. There's the cross into the box, which was a good ball too, and it was Wootton getting on the end of it. Just couldn't quite direct it on target. O'Brien's dug out a really good cross, and there's the opener. Christian Dennis for Notts County. What a ball that was! So inviting for Dennis, and he did the rest. And Notts are in front in this semi-final. Notts County still hoping for 2 trips to Wembley potentially this season, because they're also in the semi-finals of the trophy and will eventually meet Harrogate at Meadow Lane in that game of the semi-final between Concord Rangers and Halesoe in Town. Oh, could be another chance here, Roberts! Wow, that's a let-off for Barnet. Dunn. That's a good ball, looking to release Mason Clark. And McCallum's getting into the box, Walker's there, Dunn's arriving on the edge, Mason Clark! Oh, good save from Slocum. Fine stop from the Notts County goalkeeper. Oh, loose ball from Santos, and now this could present an opportunity to O'Brien and Notts County, and he's picked out Dennis, can he finish? And another opportunity! And a double save from Loach to deny Notts County. I have to say, Adam, in these playoff situations, you look at how fine the margins can be. You see the opportunity that Notts didn't take through Callum Roberts. You see that chance they didn't take through Dennis, and you wonder, here's Rose, though, could be another chance for them here. Roberts. Still Roberts. Oh, brilliant! Fantastic goal! Oh, that's a gem. Callum Roberts doubles Notts County's lead. A player of some ability, and how he demonstrated it there. Notts County are going to Wembley. The Magpies just one win from an immediate return to the Football League. Neil Ardley's side have seen off the challenge of Barnet and will now meet Harrogate in next Sunday's final.
That win means that 365 days after the season began, Notts will go to Wembley just one win away from an instant return to the Football League.